In the early 1800s, southern Africa was in turmoil. The Zulu king Shaka was building his empire through brutal military campaigns, and the violence spread across the region in a period known as the Mfecane, or the crushing. Many clans were destroyed or absorbed. But one small group, the Jere people led by a man named Zwangandaba, chose a different path. They fled north. You are on Decroly History Hub YouTube channel. This is the history of the Ngoni people. If you're enjoying this journey through history, please give the video a like and subscribe to our channel. Your support helps us bring more stories to life. Zwangandaba was not a weak man. He was a warrior and a commander, familiar with the famous Zulu fighting tactics. The short stabbing spear called the Nc'wala, the disciplined Impi regiments, the cattle raids. As his people moved, they did not just wander, they fought. They absorbed other clans, took in captives, and married outside their group. Over time, they became a new nation, the Ngoni, which means people of the north. For more than a decade, they traveled across what is now Eswatini, Mozambique, and Zimbabwe. But their greatest challenge came in November 1835 when they reached the mighty Zambezi River. The river was wide and dangerous, filled with crocodiles and strong currents. Turning back meant death or slavery. Crossing seemed impossible. Then, in the middle of the day, the sky went dark. A total solar eclipse passed directly overhead. Zwangandaba saw this as a sign from the ancestors. He ordered the crossing. According to Ngoni oral tradition, the waters parted for him, and his people made it safely to the other side. That moment became the foundation of their identity, a people chosen to survive. For a time, the Ngoni settled on the Ufipa Plateau near Lake Tanganyika. Zwangandaba built a proper kingdom. His people farmed, raised cattle, and lived in large villages organized around a central cattle pen. The king, or Nkosi, held absolute authority, but he ruled with the help of counselors and warriors. Peace did not last forever. After Zwangandaba died around 1848, his sons fought over who would be the next king. The great Ngoni nation broke apart into 5 separate groups. 2 of those groups became the most powerful. One son, Mfecane, led his followers east into what is now Zambia, establishing a kingdom around present-day Chipata. Another son, Mbelwa, went further north into the highlands of northern Malawi. Both kept the old Zulu military traditions alive, and both grew strong by controlling trade and raiding their neighbors. But in the 1890s, a new force arrived, European colonists. The British South Africa Company wanted land and control. In 1898, Mfecane led a rebellion. Around 4,000 Ngoni warriors charged against British machine guns and rifles. They fought bravely, but they were defeated. Mfecane was forced to sign a treaty that ended his kingdom's independence. In Tanzania, the Ngoni leader Songa joined the Maji Maji rebellion against German rule. He was captured and executed in 1906. The Germans took his skull to Berlin for scientific research, a cruel act of colonial violence. For decades, the Ngoni were suppressed. Their ceremonies were banned. Their language, Tumbuka, replaced the old Zulu-based speech. Many Ngoni began to forget their origins, but they did not disappear. In 1980, after Zambia gained independence, the traditional Nc'wala ceremony was revived. Every February, the Ngoni gather to offer the first fruits of the harvest. Young men are initiated into adulthood. Warriors dance in leopard skins and feathers. A black bull is sacrificed to the ancestors. The ceremony is not just a festival, it is a declaration that the Ngoni are still here. And in 2025, something remarkable happened. The descendants of Mfecane traveled south to meet their long-lost Zulu cousins in South Africa. For the first time in nearly 190 years, the scattered children of Zwangandaba came home. They shared songs, stories, and rituals that had been kept alive across generations. The story of the Ngoni is not just about war and migration, it is about resilience. A small group of refugees fled from one of Africa's greatest empires, walked thousands of kilometers, crossed a river under an eclipse, built new kingdoms, fought colonial armies, and survived centuries of suppression. Today, they remember their past, not as a tragedy, but as a triumph. That is the story of the Ngoni people. From the shadow of Shaka to the banks of the Zambezi to the hills of Zambia and Malawi, they never stopped being who they are. Thank you for watching. If you found this history valuable, please like and subscribe and share your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear your perspective and keep the conversation going.